Welcome to Gustav is Technical and Boring and talk about how to make a diving suit like Bioshock 1 or just deep sea diving. Anyway, we are going to make this diving suit today from the olden times when things looks cool when you were walking on the bottom of the sea. So we're gonna start with this plastic ball and I'm just gonna cover up with plastic so it doesn't stick to itself. I could take like 2 plastic balls and just cut them up together, but well, I couldn't really do that, so I just took this old big thing I have here and tried to make a copy of it, which is also something that you might find useful in some way. So we're just gonna cover this with plastics and a lot of tape. And the reason I'm using old plastic bag was because I have plastic. Fuck now. Anyway, yes, plastic ball. And then we're gonna take another color of tape to just see that we have done more than 1 layer. Then after that, I'm going to pour some C200 and take some strips of old fabric and pull them over. As you see, I have already done this in 1 layer, so I'm just gonna cut up some more strips and cover them in C200. C200 is basically wood glue, but better because you can, well, file it down and so on. C200 is fantastic, but it's like wood glue anyway. So we're just gonna make it. It's gonna be completely messy to do this, but it's gonna be easy to remove due to we have so much plastic on it. And when you are finished with that, I see I have 2 balls here, but one is slightly smaller than the other one because I try to save time here. So they are not really big, but we're gonna fix this later, and I will show you how. And then we're going to release this, which will be very, very easy. Just gonna move the tape and just apply a bit of force. And it's just gonna snap out like anything else that snaps out. So there you go, and then we're gonna cut it. Oh, so look, we have 2 halves here. I could also recommend, if you don't use this technique for doing several of them, you can just buy 2 plastic balls and join them together. But if you're gonna do this technique, because I'm gonna do several of this, and look, we have a giraffe inside! An happy giraffe! Anyway, so this is one is slightly larger than the other, which just me trying to save time by doing it. So we are now going to make a line here and cut them together while they are still not really dry, they are still wibbly wobbly. Okay, so now we have this very big open mouth thing because one is bigger than the other, but that doesn't stop me from fixing this with this bucket that I am going to use. We are going to trace a circle. Let's try to line this up as good as possible. Then we are going to cut pushed down this bucket here into the hole, and we are going to align here. You might notice that this is very dirty, this bucket, so I'm going to clean it before I'm going to glue it on. And I'm doing a second line here. We're gonna cut it up here so we have a place to glue it in. And the giraffe is still happy. And then it's time to make all the interesting details things, like the things you look out from. Which we are going to measure it because it's gonna be a little bit more symmetric. And I'm just gonna cut it out with a, since it's fabric and glue, it's just a normal knife that will do the trick here.
Aj! Helvete!
Take this CD bulk cover. And now we're going to take this giant. You don't necessarily have to use this, but you can just trace around like the diameter you have. But this will be circularly round to begin with, so I will just do that instead. And drilling. And then I'm just cutting out with a knife when I drill halfway. And now we're going to take off this ledge here that you see. I have marked with a black because translucent can be hard to pick up on the camera. And then we're gonna check again if it works, which you will do. I'm going to use these jars of candy, which I have, which you can find pretty much in every food store almost. Brand maybe differ, so we are going to cut that away along the edge here to save this for the side of the helmet. And then more cutting. Well, a lot of cutting in this review. No, review, sorry about it. Tutorial video. Whatever. Yes, and then we're going to see if it's fit, because it's going to be a slightly smaller hole, because this is, well, have an angle. Anyway, so I just cut a round hole in it, which actually was a little bit too big here last, because it couldn't stand up by itself. And then we're gonna take this lid from a spray can cap, and then we're gonna cut out the middle of it, because this model actually has some smaller circle inside of it, which actually fits quite nice over the 30mm plastic pipe, which will be a very good attachment points. You see, there it will, that will look like. And then I'm going to place it, not there, but on the other side of the helmet. There, just look at the magic of the other side. And then we're going to cut up some Actimel, which I hope is the same brand everywhere, but fuck it, it's a small little bucket. You can just take a soda bottle also, because you just need that little part there to put this other electrical appliance part over, to get this giant octagon shaped thing, and we're gonna drill some hole to attach it. And if you haven't got a cone drill at your workshop, do it, because it's going to be good. And this is some paper clips things that you can use for bolts. Some people use Google Eyes, but these actually hold the thing in place also if you have drilled a hole, which is good. And then we're gonna attach the pipes there. And the pipes are just a bunch of plastic pipes together in different sizes. So this is the parts you will use for making the little pressure shifting around the mouth piece. It's a little pipe, a cover to a lid to a pen, a small ball, plastic ball. You can use Christmas ornaments. This is from a soda. I think it's Powerade or something. They put also, and that is also from some house decorating thing, but it basically is a ball with a little around here. You can also maybe find this in a home decoration place for curtains. And then we're just gonna drill some holes and put this whole thing together with glue. And the small round ball I have there is actually a firework that I find lying on the ground. I'm like, oh, it's a ball. I will take this. And now we're going to do the protection for the glass on the diving suit, which is actually like this squared net things. So I made it out of EVA foam and just going to cut them like that and glue them together. You can adjust the measurements out of the food cans you have. And just gonna make the edges look nice by cutting them. They're also made out of EVA foam, if I didn't tell you that earlier. There you go, just glue them like that. And here we have the special glass on the forehead, which is actually so now we're going to do the valve on the side here. So we need, this thing is actually a lid to a hair product, and this is just a pipe glued to this construction spacer, which you can buy in a hardware store. And just gonna push it down there, and we have some EVA foam on the back side, and then we're gonna glue it to the helmet. And there I have stopped to interrupting myself by gluing this part on, which I was supposed to say before. That part is for bike repair kits. And we're gonna take some Christmas ornaments, which is actually without the like red color. I scraped that off because there's glitter on it. And I'm just gonna drill some hole because this part looks kind of this, but Christmas ornament, like when I record this, is kind of easy to find because they are going to sell them off because it's January when I'm recording this. And just look how nice it is. And then we're going to cut off the weird ledge there, which I find to be a bit problematic, so I just took and bend it off instead, which works perfectly fine. So we can then glue it to the end of this semi-pipe thing. And I also take this black foam piece I have here, just so it will be easier to paint inside, because it's gonna be hollow, so we need to have a background color, which is this black one here. And then we're gonna glue it like that. Oh look, there was my cat. Isn't she cute? And we're gonna take this IKEA paper bag from Sweden, because I am from Sweden, so why not use IKEA, because it's Swedish. And we are going to make the neck cover thing there. This was actually a bit too big, which I will shrink later, but whatever. And we're going to attach it to the big sheet of AVA foam. But this is too big, so don't worry, it will fit inside it, because this barely fits. Which is a little mistake I did by making it too big, but you have to cock up sometimes. And also eat popcorn, because popcorn are good. Maybe not for you, but it tastes good. Whatever. And then it's just adjusting and trying to push this in and so on and fix it. As you see there, it's too big for my head. And now we're going to heat shape this EVA foam and hold it there for a while. This can be really tricky. and just use a lot of glue to glue it to it. And then I'm going to shape the shoulders because they look weird, so I'm going to take some silver tape or duct tape and then glue on the inside and let it be, so the glue can dry and it will be holding itself in that position. And now I'm trying to make this thing smaller by trying to make it almost as good as I can with measurements to make it smaller. I'm just gonna cut it with a blade, a very sharp one. See it coming off, and that it looks much better on me. And then we're going to make this the part when it's attached to the helmet, because I didn't do a version that you can take off because I don't really need to, but you can spend some time doing it as also if you really want to. And now we're going to make the nuts on the edges of the helmet, which looks kind of special. So it's just basically a line, and then it's just a round circle on it. They will look like this, and we are going to do like 10 of them, so it's a lot of cutting. I had to speed this up the footage very much because it took too long time. And now we're going to measure, so we're going to make one straight circle part here, which I'm doing from a yoga mat, because they're also very, very good to use. Unless you make something structural, then you shouldn't use it at all. This is just for decoration. And then we're also going to make another strip to make this decorative part here. And then we're going to measure out and glue where all the bolts gonna be. And we're also going to use the paper clips thingy, just push them right through to get this little knob on top of it. And also in the front here you see the circle is just glued on parts of pipes that I've done, which I forgot. And we're gonna paint it, and it's gonna be, firstly it's gonna be paint with brown. Just take brown paint and just paint everything with brown. I do not have a brown spray paint, so I just use a pencil instead. And also because I can work in my workshop with it, because then I have to go to the garage and spray it a bit in gold. Not too much, just a little bit, a little touch of gold. And then we're going to use these colors. It's grey and brown and green and also black. So we're gonna start by taking the green and making all the places where water can, all the little ledges and so on, so the water can build this rusted brass and copper, because it's turned green, but not too much green because it's gonna look fake. So just a little bit touch of green. You can also use it with an airbrush if you have one. I have a airbrush, but it keeps breaking down all the time, so I have to fix it some way, so I will use a pencil. And here's a close-up of me doing the green brass thing. Just look at it. And then we're gonna take dark, or this is light gray by the way. It's gonna be black. And we do this in layer here and brush it off to get this more like realistic look of how a very used helmet is looking, because normally it just turns into white but then also the white is collecting dirt, so it will turn gray. Because I've looked at a lot of helmets from very new and shiny to very, very old and lying on the bottom of the sea, and this is somewhere between. So this whole painting process for the spraying took like 20 minutes in total. You can spend a lot of time trying to make it perfect and so on, but I think here it's like, if it's less is more, and it will look good. And then when it's dry, we are going to take the lids from the candy containers. Also, same container use. You can just use any kind of transparent plastic from any kind of packaging or food package and so on, and just cut it in the right size and take a little bit of glue and put them on the inside. And that's how you make a old diving helmet. Thank you for watching.